Back here on First Take, the Ravens having a tough time keeping the ship afloat with Lamar Jackson sideline. Baltimore dropped to 1-5 after losing to the Rams 17-3 on Sunday. That's 4 straight losses for the Ravens. Their worst 6-game start in franchise history, and now they head into a bye. John Harbaugh said postgame that he expects Lamar back for the team's next home game on October 26th. And the Ravens currently have a 25% chance to make the playoffs according to ESPN analytics. However, of the 358 teams to start the season 1-5 or worse, only 4 of those teams made the playoffs since 1933. Cam Newton, I got to start with you first because I know that you are a crazy ex with this Baltimore team. Do you still see them making the playoffs?
Yes. Yes. And it sounds crazy, but understand the reason why. Their margin of error has now shrunk smaller than an ant's pinky fingers. But needless to say, we have an opportunity still. Not because I love the Baltimore Ravens, it's because I love Lamar Jackson, especially if Lamar Jackson is healthy. The next 5 games by the Baltimore Ravens. Who do we have here, Ryan Clark? Chicago Bears. Who do we have here, Amina? Miami Dolphins. Who do we have here, Stephen Anthony? Minnesota Vikings. Hey, let's bring back Ryan Terry. With the reverse there, we got Cleveland Browns and we got New York Jets. Those 5 games right there, you can find a way to get 5-5 again. Oh my goodness! Not only do the Baltimore Ravens can change the ship, they still have an opportunity.
They do still have an opportunity, but that's not the reason.
Nah.
The reason is because of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Talk to me.
That's the reason that they still have an opportunity. The Pittsburgh Steelers last year lost their last 5 games. Last 4 games of the regular season and the playoff game to Baltimore. The year before that, they finished 500 over their last 6 games to end the regular season. Baltimore would not have a chance if we could rely and count on the Steelers from week 11 to week 17 to close the deal. That is what is going to determine what's going to happen in the AFC
What do you think
North.
will happen? Double Dutch Stephen A?
Double Dutch Stephen A. Let me look at this right now.
Yeah, tell me what will happen.
Over the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks of this NFL season, the Pittsburgh Steelers play at Chicago, Buffalo, at Baltimore, Miami, at Detroit, Cleveland, at the Baltimore Steelers to win the AFC.
Ooh.
They better not make me out to be a liar.
Slow
I
clap from
will
RC.
pick the Steelers to win the AFC North. But Cam is not wrong because history shows us over the last 2 to 3 years that the Steelers struggle to close. They got to close.
I'm kind of emotional.
You know what?
I feel like we've just been so long and like our relationship with the Steelers,
That's right, man.
it's been
That's right.
tough,
That's
you
right.
know, and like we start out good and
right.
then like at the end we don't be doing good.
That's right.
And then,
That's
like,
right.
You be being mean to us on
No,
TV and
yeah,
stuff.
man.
And like, I be like, why Stevie they hating? Then you be like, no, they suck and I feel better now. Gosh, I'm so emotional.
Exactly. That's right. That's right. Try to get it out. Try to get it out.
Cool.
Try to get it
You know
out.
what though? You know what the biggest problem with what Cam is saying about the Baltimore Ravens is that it has to be mathematically correct. When is the last time we've been talking about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens and thinking about the mathematics toward the end of the season? Oh, we can beat the Bears, the Dolphins, the Vikings, the Browns, the Jets, the Bengals twice. And then you're going to say, okay, maybe they can split with the Packers and the Steelers and the Patriots at the end of the season. And so they can kind of sneak into the playoffs because the numbers matter. This was a team that was supposed
NFL Week 17. Biggest questions, takeaways for every game NFL Nation Deck 31, 2024, 10:18 a.m. share like open extended reactions like Firewall 6.1 Ka critical week 17 began with a pair of games on Christmas Day. As the Kansas City Chiefs took down the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens won at the Houston Texans to alter the complexion of the AFC North race, that on Thursday, the Seattle Seahawks improved road teams to 3-0 on the week by taking down the Chicago Bears, keeping Seattle in play for the NFC West title and a playoff berth. That Saturday's tripleheader kicked off with the Los Angeles Chargers punching their playoff ticket with an easy win at the New England Patriots. It continued with the Cincinnati Bengals picking up an overtime victory over the visiting Denver Broncos to stay alive in the AFC playoff race. In the final game of the day, the Los Angeles Rams put themselves on the cusp of a playoff berth with a narrow home win versus the Arizona Cardinals. That on Sunday, the New York Giants started things off with an upset victory over the Indianapolis Colts. Philadelphia Eagles running back Saquon Barkley surpassed 2,000 rushing yards for the season in a win, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers stormed past the Carolina Panthers. Later, the Minnesota Vikings outlasted the NFC North rival Green Bay Packers. Our NFL Nation reporters reacted to all the action, answering lingering questions coming out of each game and detailing everything else you need to know for every team. Let's get to it. Jump 2. KC Pitt BLHOU SE Kalikini DNSN X LVNO Del Find NYGCRTB NGFMIN was Apple to Sef Detroit 40. San Francisco 34 Lions. Should the Lions be concerned with their defense heading into a big game versus the Vikings? Certainly. Detroit's defense is banged up with 13 defensive players on injured reserve, but the latest defensive output in which they allowed 475 yards of total offense against the 49ers should be a reason for concern. The 14-2 Vikings averaged 26.4 points per game. The winner Sunday will clinch the NFC North Division title, the NFC's #1 seed and home field advantage for the playoffs. Safety Kirby Joseph came away with 2 interceptions, giving him 9 on the season, but coordinator Aaron Glenn must tighten up his defense for a complete game in the regular season finale. What we learned about the QB today: Lions QB Jared Goff remains poised in pressure situations. All 3 of Goff's touchdowns against San Francisco were on either third or fourth down plays. He now has 17 touchdowns and 0 interceptions on third or fourth down this season. He completed 26 of 34 passes for 303 passing yards against the 49ers. Eye-popping stat. There were just 4 total incompletions in the first half combined by opposing quarterbacks Goff and Brock Purdy. Those incompletions came on 2 throwaways, 1 spike and 1 defended pass in the end zone. So, really there was just 1 incompletion on a throw with a target attributed. Eric Woodyard next game. Versus Vikings, Sunday, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. 49ers. What can the 49ers take away from their latest loss? There's no room for moral victories in San Francisco, especially for a team that has enjoyed many real wins in the past 5 years. But in a lost season, it's no small thing that San Francisco didn't just stand by and get run over by the high-powered Lions on Monday night. That offered much-needed proof that there's still plenty of fight and belief in coach Kyle Shanahan left in the Niners' locker room, which is important as they head into an offseason that could bring a lot of change. More tangibly, the loss is better for the 6-10 Niners in that it clinched a last-place schedule for them in 2025 and maintained their chances of holding on to the number 11 pick in April's draft. Describe the game in 2 words: all offense. It's little surprise that the high-octane Lions moved the ball up and down the field, but the Niners' offense hasn't done much of that this season. The teams combined to score touchdowns on their first 5 possessions, and there wasn't an incomplete pass thrown by either side until there was 4:59 left in the second quarter. By night's end, they combined for 74 points and 914 yards. Most surprising performance. 49ers rookie receiver Ricky Pearsall has been mostly quiet since a big Week 10 performance in Tampa Bay, posting 6 catches for 58 yards in the ensuing 6 games. But Pearsall was prominently in the mix Monday night, finishing with 8 receptions for 141 yards and a touchdown. He's the first Niners rookie since Deebo Samuel in 2019 to have 100 receiving yards and a score in a game. Nick Wagoner next game. At Cardinals, Sunday, for 25 p.m. Eastern Time. Washington 30, Atlanta 24. Commanders. Are the Commanders ahead of schedule after making the playoffs in Jaden Daniels' rookie season? When Coach Dan Quinn was hired in February, he preferred the word recalibrate over rebuilding. After the Commanders won 4 games last season, few pegged them as a playoff team, let alone one that would win 11 games for the first time since the 1991 campaign. They received few contributions from the previous 4 drafts. 5 of the 7 first and second-round picks in that span were jettisoned this year. Daniels accelerated expectations with his impressive play, which should earn him Offensive Rookie of the Year honors. Most surprising performance. Wide receiver Olamide Zekos entered the game with 35 receptions, but finished it with a season-high 8 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown, with another one nullified by a holding penalty. Atlanta held wideout Terry McLaurin to 1 catch for 5 yards, and the Commanders were without wide receivers Diami Brown, hamstring, and Noah Brown, kidney. They needed what Zekos delivered. What we learned about the QB on Sunday. Daniels will not be named